Wait, how do we
Hey,
start on
internet.
escort services?
Wait, what?
Wow. Wow. Welcome.
Hello.
Can't take these guys anywhere.
No.
Hey, internets. It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries, Book 4, A Deep and Creeping Darkness. This is Chapter 34, Escort Service. And we'll see what that's all about here in just a few moments when we get started. Domain tomes. I'm going to talk about those first because I don't want to forget that I owe you one. Look up above Jordan's head. See the magic happen. All of those little tiny books are domain tomes. That's a way that you, the viewer, can influence the game simply by doing things like subscribing, gifting subs, resub. You can cheer 500 bits. You can tip $5. You can do a Ko-fi tip. All those kind of things all equate to domain tomes that the players can use to gain advantage, re-roll the dice, or make me re-roll. But if you look up above those, there are 5 tiny tomes, limited edition tomes that I have been holding in reserve. I can only have 5 at a given time. I also can use them to gain advantage. I can is it reroll? I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. I'm saving them all for the 5, which is counterspell, which is to counteract a reroll, DM reroll from the players. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that going forward. Be sure to visit our sponsors when you get a chance. Channel sponsors Talon and Claw, who you can see their site by typing !MTD Claw in the chat. That'll pop up from time to time. Check out their Etsy store, see what kind of stuff they got going on. I know that there is, I can't remember what it's called now, but he's got a new Adventurers Vault thing coming out. I think they said it was in March or May. March. It's an all-in-one dice vault and pencil and adventure journal and rolling tray and all that good stuff. But you can go to their store, put all the stuff you want in your cart, use code MTDClaw at checkout, and get 10% off of your order. Gary, I believe you got something you wanted to let people know about.
Yeah, we're really excited. So you might have seen, if you follow us on Twitter, we are hosting an ambitious new Dungeons and Dragons Ravenloft anthology called Dreadful Tales. It's 2 dungeon masters, 10 players, and 2 finales. If you don't even have an idea how that's going to work, make sure you tune in tomorrow for the premiere episode, which is February 22nd at 8:30 on the Talon and Claw Twitch channel. You might see from some familiar faces. I'm going to point down at Dwight, and we'll see what's going to happen as we investigate the domains of dread in Dreadful Tales.
All right, Jordan, I believe you got something as well.
Sure, yes. So Friday is my birthday. Hello. So on Saturday, we'll be doing a D&D game for charity for Color of Change. So Duval will be running myself, Dimples and Dice, Sin, Crucian, who is also celebrating their birthday on Saturday, and April Raygun through a level 15 D&D heist. I'm sure this will be fine with the chaotic group that we have. I definitely think we'll be leaving the tavern pretty quickly. So come on by. We're going to be raising money for that. It starts at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel, which is twitch.tv/D&D Jordan Lee. So, yay!
Awesome. I think other than just while you're here, be sure to check out other shows that we got coming up. Of course, we've got our Dawnbringers coming up on Thursday, every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And we've got on the 9th of March is the final episode of Silent Sky, our Mythos Investigators Call of Cthulhu game happening over on Big Bearded Nerd, which is also the final time that, any TTRPG will be on Big Bearded Nerd. But fear not, they're coming here. And I guess that's not the final time Annie's going to be there, but most of them are moving over here. In April, on April 9th, most likely, will be our next series of Mythos Investigators with our own Cari being our keeper for the first time ever. So we are looking forward to that as well. And we've got one final message for all of you before we get going. Dwight.
Yeah, before I get to that, though, I will say March 6th, we're also going to be bringing Shadowport Adventures. It used to be on Big Bearded Nerd. It will be here on Mini Train Domain. I believe we're starting at 3 Eastern time on Sunday afternoons. Be a short run Star Wars campaign run by our friend Jay Neofet. So,
speaking of Jay,
Yay.
Tomorrow is the finale of Legends of Saltmarsh here at 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain.
Woo!
Awesome.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, before we get started, though, Jake's asked me to handle this for tonight, but as we do every one of our streams, we want to make sure that everyone out there knows that you matter. You are important to us. We are glad you're here. We're glad that you stopped by to hang out with us on Monday nights. And we want you to know that you matter, your mental health matters. Whether you believe it or not, we believe it, that we want you here. And to that end, we want to make sure that you will always have a place to come find mental health resources when you need them here at Mini Train Domain. So you can come type !help in the chat, and you will receive it will post links to mental health awareness and assistance website. It's extremely important to us here to extol the virtues of mental health and self-care. And we want you to continue coming and hanging out with us, lurking in chat or participating in chat or watching the VODs, whatever it might be. We love having you here. So please come type !help in the chat if you need it, and come back next week. So with that, I'll turn it back to Jake.
All right. Thank you, Dwight. With that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Let's do it.
All right. Most recently, the book club has returned to Candlekeep. They've spent about a 10-day doing a variety of activities. Mizya spent some time in personal study and growth, learning how to work with chemicals and construct things. And also took a meeting with a familiar figure from their past, an elven noblewoman by the name of Ravona Shadowheart. Also during that period, Vorn and Teera did some asking around and eventually figured out where there was a fight club taking place. It was very difficult to find out about this because, of course, nobody talks about it. But they were able to join into this special fight club, pay a modest 25 gold fee to get beaten up. Vorn got taken out in the first round. Of course, poor Vorn had to face Little One. And Teera faced off against... his name is escaping me at the moment, but the bartender of the Hearth, who goes by the name of Harlow Fletcher, and beat Harlow. But in the second round, Teera had to face Little One and got beamed in the head with a chain and got knocked unconscious and eliminated. But the mysterious, swashbuckling feline Tabaxi by the name of Rising Tide won the bracket for that fight. Also during that period, Teera and Assyria had their swords taken care of by Carol the Armorer, who was repairing some damage done to those swords. Teera found out that somebody had already paid for hers, but has it back to full strength. Assyria found out there's something quite peculiar with her sword. That when he was cleaning up the acid burns, there is a very shiny, almost silver-like metal showing through. Recommended that she talk to great reader Teera of Oste, who also happens to be their patron as Candlekeep investigators. Doc went a wandering deep into the catacombs of Candlekeep, chasing a literal dream, and eventually finding deep within the catacombs the spectral dragon by the name of Miram, who resides amongst many old books, and the two of them had quite an intense conversation, and they spent quite a bit of time in quiet reflection, literally staring silently at one another. I almost forgot one of the most important things, that Assyria also decided to cast Speak with Animals while chilling in the woods with her faithful faithful wolf, Soren,
Big.
and discovered that Soren's real name is Thadrid. That Soren is actually her brother, who has been missing for 5 years.
A twist.
Has been with her this whole time. He seemed to have appeared in the cave as a wolf pup on the same day that Assyria was brought in by the wolf pack. Assyria headed up to begin to speak to Teera of Oste, discovering that, actually, Irony had come to bring you to Teera of Oste. And you had learned that there was a red-haired dwarven woman there, and that Teera of Oste said that, well, she's got your next job. And that's where we're going to pick up with Assyria in Teera of Oste's office. Assyria, what is your response as you walk in expecting to talk to Teera about something, and she has a guest?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Am I interrupting?
No, Assyria. I had actually summoned you here to meet our guest. Irony is heading to retrieve the others. They will be along shortly, but please do make yourself comfortable.
Just stand there. She's got too much on her mind.
I'm always comfortable.
I'm always comfortable.
Well, we do have several minutes before the others arrive.
Sure.
Is there something on your mind?
And she'll kind of glance over at the dwarf with red hair.
She had previously been introduced to you as Manistrad Copperlocks.
Right. It can wait. We can wait until after.
Manistrad kind of looks between the two of you, and right. I'll just give you a few moments.
No. It's
I
all
need
right.
to get some fresh air. We've got some time before your companions arrive. If you'll excuse me. And she stands up and she leaves the room. And as she does so, she kind of moves past you, Assyria. She closes the door behind her. And you hear her heavy footsteps as she walks off down the hall.
I'm so sorry. This is fine. Normally Teera or Doc or Mizya do the talking. I'm not really good at this. So there we go. Sorry, I realize I'm kind of springing this on you. but I guess it kind of pertains to what we've been working on. Both Teera and I, our swords got kind of mangled in our most recent
Oh dear.
trip. While we've been able to get them fixed, Carol did manage to find that there were some oddities with my sword and recommended that I come speak to you about them.
Oddities with your sword.
There seems to be some silver in it, and some other possible magical properties. I'm not super familiar with it.
Yes. That is one of my areas of expertise.
Okay.
So it is magical items and artifacts and things of that nature. It's curses and the weave in general. These are all things that I specialize here. So it's very good of him. May I see your blade then?
Of course, and she'll kind of gently take it out of where she's been keeping it. There you go.
All right. And you see as she kind of looks at it, moving around the desk, looking at it in different light, and she leans in close to the area where these spots of silver are showing through. And only then does she actually pick it up. She kind of holds it to and fro, looking at it in the light over the course of the next minute. As she does so, she kind of reaches into a small pouch at her side, and you see that when she removes her hand from in this pouch, she has a ring on one of her fingers that has a pearl in it. And she holds an owl feather in her hand, and she kind of begins tracing it around on the blade. And after a minute, you watch as the owl feather suddenly, like flash paper, burns up. Interesting.
Hearing that word a lot recently. Is it a good interesting or bad interesting?
I think that it could be a good, perhaps good interesting. What I can tell you right now is that the sword that you have here is exuding a powerful force of transfiguration magic, with strong bits of illusion weaved within it. But that is not the properties of the sword itself. This appears to be somebody has created a sort of illusory shell around your blade that was concealing what is now beginning to show through because of the damage. It's as if somebody took a magical spell of protection but turned it inward, turned it inside out, if that makes sense. So that all of the protective energies of the spell were facing inward. I'm also detecting very strong anti-magic aura, but it's leeching off. Meaning that this shell that was created around this blade was explicitly designed to suppress or conceal the magic of whatever sword is actually contained within. And that is assuming, of course, it is a sword. I say that only as conjecture.
Right.
It could be a sword, it could be a ring, it could be a wand or a staff or a token of some sort. Whatever it is, this rather mundane instrument was created as a disguise for a greater magic within.
Interesting.
I'm not afraid without further study. There's not much more I can tell you here. We could attempt to break whatever spell is concealing the magics within, thus revealing it. There are inherent dangers in that.
Right. I guess I'll think about it. If it's hidden for a reason,
What is the origin of this sword, if I may
Um,
ask?
it was my father's. It was one of the last things that I could find of his in the wreckage. That was our home. I thought it was just a simple sword. He was just a simple hunter. But I'm beginning to suspect that there's more to this story that I may not have been aware of.
Yes, that can often be the case with families and heritages. The deeper we dig, the more we uncover, and it is not always for the better. But it is
Right.
not always for the worse either.
True. I'll think about it. I'm a bit weary of leaving it behind, but I do think perhaps further study would help at least understand what its true potential could be or what else it means.
Well, if you decide that you would like me to remove whatever the illusory magic is concealing this weapon, it is because whatever this is has been compromised. It should be fairly straightforward to dispel it.
Right.
I would not require you to leave it behind. Just something to keep in mind.
Right. Considering how soon you may want us to leave, I might take you up on that offer. I'll think about it.
Very well.
But I do appreciate it. Thank you.
The rest of you would have, wherever you happen to be, at some point, Irony would come find you and tell you that your presence is requested, and would begin leading you up to Telesavaste's office.
Would it be Ricky, you can decide yes or no. I would think that Teera and Vorn would probably be together, probably having a drink or just kind of hanging out. Is that fair to say?
Well,
Or no?
yeah. So
Ooh.
hold on.
Does it involve
There's
animals?
somebody else, isn't there? Sorry. I mean, we all know there was somebody else. So.
Vorn actually, after getting whipped up by Little One, he finds a librarian and he requests he comes across 3 books. One of them is The Losh Akbrak, and it's all about like basic orc martial arts.
Awesome.
It's mostly pictures because it was written by an orc, and crude descriptions. But then he comes across another book called what I write down here. The book that he's really interested in is called The Discipline of the Winter Light, and this is all about elven martial arts, about balance and being light-footed. So if orc martial arts is Greco wrestling, this elven martial arts is closer to a cross between ballet and kung fu. Wow. And he has these 2 manuscripts, and I don't know if Little One has any extra chains that he's willing to spare, because what Vorn is looking to do is like have ankle weights and wrist weights.
Oh my god, amazing.
And then I will be at the tavern with Teera, as
Okay.
if the GM
So,
permits me to allow these books and these
First
chains.
off, while you are looking for these particular books, I'm going to have you attempt to do a research check. And you can spend money to gain pluses. You can spend 50 gold pieces to, this would account for bribes, materials, buying somebody dinner or a cup of coffee or ale or whatever, to get help, to gain a +1 to your roll.
Okay.
You can do that.
Just
You can,
one?
you can,
Okay.
it's 50 gold per +1 up to 3.
Can I do?
Or sorry,
IOUs?
up to 6. So
Do
how
they
much
take
are you willing
IOUs?
to spend to find these books?
All of it.
Well, you tell me how much you're going to spend. It's 50 gold
Um,
pieces per plus to this research roll.
Gosh,
Do not spend it all, Ricky. Do not. It is too much.
You
I'm
don't
sorry, I'm
understand
not
how
a table
pride
captain,
hits.
but don't
Pride is
effing
landing
do that.
hard. I'm gonna spend 50 gold. If
Okay.
that's good. I'm not sure if I even have 50 gold. 'Cause I
Well,
haven't been tracking my gold.
you should start tracking your
Okay.
gold because it's important.
Yeah, and Vorn realizes that as he looks to see how much gold he has. Like
I
should
don't
be
even
tracking
know
my
how much
gold.
this is. How much can I get for this many?
Yeah.
So
That's
go ahead
basically
and
it.
roll a d20 and add +1 to the roll.
D20 with advantage, is that what that is?
No.
Oh, just add +1 to the result.
Whatever you
Yes.
roll, add +1.
Okay.
Sorry, you're also adding whatever your intelligence bonus is.
Jeez. I got 5.
That's with the
5.
+1?
That's with the +1, man. You know it's with the +1. You know it.
So, you spend quite a bit of time over the course of this week, and you find that I just imagine you talking to some random avowed or seekers or people within the library, and chasing down these leads and just kind of spending the money a little bit here, a little bit there.
Hold
And
on. Can I re-roll it?
Well, it'll cost you 3 tomes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. That's what they're there for.
Yep, do it. If nothing else, what better to spend it on than research?
Punching the air in the sky
Oh.
with a 6 on the re-roll.
Okay. Well, so here's the good and the bad.
Yeah.
The good, well, the 6 is exactly what you needed to get into the next tier of finding something.
Okay.
You find that the first couple people that you paid or asked directions,
Mhm.
they either were just trying to get rid of you, or they were straight up lying to you. And then you stumble into an area where you just happen to see a book mentioning martial tactics, and you realize you kind of stumbled into the right area. I'll let you choose which of those 2 books you were able to find. You can't find both, only one,
Okay, fair enough. I'll take the Winter's Dance all day.
which was the...
Elven martial arts.
Okay. And then I'm going to have you... make a... What's your intelligence modifier?
0. But I have other things like insight and wisdom, if that helps.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Okay, well, using that, you're able to at least get a start on getting some training. You don't see any tangible results yet, but
Of course not. It's a long journey. Can I take notes?
so then sure. And then you have you're probably post workout getting that carb load with some ale, hanging out with Teera.
Cool.
Is there any last things anybody wants to take care of before Irony finds you and brings you up?
Was I able to get any weighted chains? Maybe from Little One even?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, -1 on that too. Let's go.
It's gonna be a
Oh,
19.
and that's when we roll our 16.
Hey, attaboy.
A 17, then -1, so 16 is my result.
Okay. 13 for Little One. Little One is more than happy to lend you some of his chain when you explain what you want them for. Telling you as he, with his bare hands, bends the links to separate them from his
Oh my god.
broader chain
Wow.
and reattaching them into these new sizes for you. Tells you that how important it is that you are willing to exercise both your mind and your body. Too many people choose one over the other.
Thanks, Little One. I don't feel so bad about losing to you now, as I see him twist these chains with his bare hands.
No, you should never feel bad about losing to me. And you should not feel bad when the day comes that you beat me.
You just promised me you won't hold back, right? Don't let me win.
He kind of taps the headband he's wearing. Since you weren't here, when Little One fights, he takes his headband of intellect off.
Okay.
And he fights in pure ogre form. I never hold back.
Good
Oh
to
my
know.
God. I love him.
Go ahead.
Nope.
Oh. Hey, thanks, Little One. You ever do any puzzles? Crosswords?
I must
D&D
admit, I
Sudoku?
do not know what a crossword is.
You ever heard of crossword, huh? And I do like a quick little, 3-word crossword puzzle. And I'm like, hey, there's hints on the side, and then you fill in the words. It's a fun exercise of both creative and, linguistics, vocabulary. You should ask a librarian about it. I'm sure they have tons of them around here.
I will have to do that. Thank you, Vaughn.
Yeah, I leave them with this little rudimentary crossword puzzle that's like, maybe 5 or 6 questions and vertical and cross,
Okay.
And I take up these chains and they are way heavier than I thought they were.
Oof.
Like,
Yeah.
wow, these things are dense. And then I imagine when I sit next to Teera, you hear a chunk and a whole bunch of like chains rattling like I'm wearing those skater chain wallets, that sound,
Mm.
And I reach over to my ale and I'm like, as I put my hand down with this.
Tira's
Heavy
just
chain
watching
around
it. It's
my
like, something's different about you, and I just can't put my finger on it. What have you done with yourself?
And I just kind of smile, I kind of smirk, and then I imagine like irony coming in before I get to explain.
Amazing. Perfect.
As Irony gets the two of you and summons you to Telesavaste's office, barely 5 minutes has gone by, and you see that Little One has the piece of parchment and a charcoal pencil, and he's completed the puzzle flawlessly as he looks at you and says, "That was an incredibly fun and insightful exercise for my mind. I will be sure to look these crosswords up." I rolled several D20s to see how quickly little one would solve this puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled 16, 15, 16, 17, 16.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, little
Frickin'
one's acing
owned it.
this thing.
Crushed it.
So, you have unlocked a new like for little one, crosswords.
Yay! What above?
Mizya at some point also Irene finds you in your little corner of the one building where you had sort of set up shop and doing your alchemical studies, to let you know as well that they have been gathering the others for a meeting with Telesavaste.
I walk to Telesavaste's office.
Well done. Well done.
And same with you. Same with you, Doc.
Doc is at the general store. He's ordering more supplies and hoping that the next order of goats came in. And he's going to pack up the cart. Because he needs to go rescue his people that he hired to bring supplies to the kobolds.
Roll me a D100.
All right. Oh shit! I don't have any dice.
It's okay. It's not like we're playing D&D or anything.
I always have them in the thing, and then I decided to clean up my office. I'm like, what the fuck? Why wouldn't I? 69.
Nice.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Who lies about a 69?
Okay.
I mean-
okay. I rolled. So I don't remember if I just caught delayed reaction to that. I don't remember if we've done this in this game or not, but just in case it's a refresher or new, I like to use a sliding scale, D100 scale, when there's a percentage chance of a thing happening or not happening. The way that works is I roll my D100 and say there's a 10% chance that a thing happens. That means you split it. So if it's 5% in either direction, then the thing happens. Or doesn't, depending on what it is. There was, on this particular check, a 10% chance of a thing happening. The number I rolled was a 65. And you rolled a 69. You might want to holster those finger guns. Because when you are in the house, the erudite outfitters and clothiers talking to Feldmar Bissett III, and you go in with your wagon and ready to take shipment of your goats, Feldmar looks up at you and takes his glasses off and, "I am terribly sorry. The ship that was en route to Candlekeep was beset upon by pirates and did not arrive. Your goats and any supplies you ordered, I'm afraid, will not be available for another month."
Well,
Oh no.
that's unfortunate. What else do you have?
Whatever you see here.
Well,
You've
What you
taken
have
all of
here-
my clay pots,
yes.
and I gave you all of the goats,
Yes.
and you took quite a fair bit of grain and wheat and flax and seeds and such.
Yes. Do you have anything else that would be useful?
Everything you see here would be useful. Is
Not to me.
if you have a specific thing that you need and you see it here, it is available for sale. What I'm telling you is that if you do not see it see it here, then I don't have it.
Okay. Well, do you have any implements like rakes or hoes?
He looks at you and then looks just slightly to the side where there's a whole rack of rakes and hoes.
Okay, I will take a few of those. And do you have any more seeds?
I'm afraid I don't have any more seeds and grain to spare, as what else came in was part of our sustainment for Candlekeep. May I ask why you keep purchasing all of this equipment, and what are you doing with it?
Oh, yes, I am trying to help a tribe of kobolds become less predatory and more self-sufficient. You see, we recently liberated them from a dragon, and that was in large part due to my very persuasive abilities to try and side against their dragon master and to lift off the shackles of tyranny upon which the dragon was keeping them. And then now I'm trying to help them become more self-sufficient by farming and growing their own food and not having to predate the road as they were previously, because predation is certainly not ideal, especially when you want to be a civilized folk as these times call for.
Wow.
How many rakes and shovels did you need?
I'll take 2 of each, please.
Very well.
And that's it. I think that's probably everything that I could use. What about block and tackle? Do you have that for fishing?
Well, tackle then. I have a handful of old fishing rods and some hooks and line, but I'm afraid I don't have any tackle.
Oh, well, I'll take what you have then.
Very well.
And I suppose that's everything. You'll put it on my bill?
The bill that I will write up right now and that you will pay me for, yes.
Okay. Sometimes I wish you were friendlier.
I do apologize, but I did just learn that my expected shipment was stolen by piracy on the seas.
Oh, well, I didn't take them.
I did not expect you for a pirate.
Good. Then we're on the same page. Because I didn't take them. I'm not a pirate. I've been here mostly the whole time.
Well, I will take 8 gold pieces.
Okay. Well, you can put my order of goats, and you can put some new fishing line and some seeds and some dirt and whatnot, and you can put that on my bill, and you can put it on the next order, and hopefully it isn't pirated.
Yes, let us hope for the best.
All right, then. I think I'm done with you. I appreciate your time. And hopefully, things are better than they were before.
Yes, I certainly hope so. Good day to you.
And a better day to you. Sounds like it can't get much worse.
All right, where are you going with all your supplies?
I'm gonna put them in the cart, and then I will go as summoned to Tellus of Oste.
Okay.
Wow.
Eventually, Doc is the last one to show up at Telesavaste's office. With a very breathless Irony, who has been running all over, and who just kind of, as they bring Doc in, just looks in at everybody. I like it when you are all together. It's much easier that way. And then closes the door behind them, and then sort of, oh, excuse me, and the dwarven woman has returned, comes in. So you are now all in the room with Great Reader Telesavaste and with Manistrad Copperlocks. Well, I'm glad that I can have you all here. I trust that you have been able to find some relaxation and a bit of a break after your more recent excursions.
I kind of look over at Vorn, just like out the corner of my eye, and then kind of like just smile and turn my head away. And kind of try to hide that my eye is still a little bit black.
Yes, Doc.
Why do you trust that we found relaxation?
It's simply a turn of phrase, Doc. I was hoping with nearly 10 days since you had returned that rest and relaxation was something you were able to find. If that is not the case, then I'm sorry to hear that.
I catch Teera's glance and kind of smirk back and, kind of roll the shoulders a little bit. That's it.
It was very relaxing. Thank you.
Telesavaste looks at you, Teera, and then looks over at Vorn, and then looks back at you. Yes, I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for those of you just arriving, I would like to introduce you to our guest. This is Manistrad Copperlocks. Manistrad is joining us from the Royal Mining Consortium as a representative of the Royal Mining Consortium, having joined us all the way from Kewland, across the Shining Sea. And will be needing our help. And by our help, I of course mean your help. It seems that in a recent pursuit of what was once a burgeoning mine, the research brought them here to Candlekeep, seeking out a very specific book. As she kind of walks around her desk, she just kind of places her fingers lightly on a black leather tome that sits on the desk. This particular tome, in fact, called A Deep and Creeping Darkness. Manistrad has already done the due diligence of finding the book here and researching its contents, at which point I became aware and was brought in to see what we could do to offer assistance. Manistrad. Thank you, Great Reader. As Telesavaste said, my name is Manistrad Copperlocks, and I have come a very long way. I am an individual who is brought in when there is the potential of there being rather sizable claims of whatever mining operation is being surveyed, or in this case, what historically was once a valid mine. My research has shown that it was nearly 80 years ago when this platinum mine was first started. According to the contents of this particular book, which is a rather... well, it's a rather furorist telling of a tale of a particular region known as Vermeulen. The platinum mine was quite profitable for about 10 years. And then there was a tragic accident. Some sort of explosion within the mine, trapping 60 miners deep below the earth. About 30 of them lost their lives in the tragedy. Another 30 were trapped for quite some time before they finally made it out of the mine. It seems that, unfortunately, for whatever reason, they were never able to fully recover from this tragedy, and the tales tell that over the course of the next several months, people began to go missing. Now, they weren't sure if it was something to do with the disaster that happened, or if people were leaving in the night and not telling anyone. Whatever the case, eventually all communication with Vermeulen seemed to vanish. Nobody knew what happened, and there's no further record beyond this particular book. Now, we know where Vermeulen is, and I have a team waiting for us to travel to Vermeulen, and we need to survey to see if it is in fact a valid mine. If the stories are to be told, there's quite a bit of platinum to be found within this mine. Also, we need to determine how safe it is, and if it is worth an investment to get this mine up and running. I myself am a veteran of, let's just say, more than one war. But some of my research and survey team are less accomplished. I was talking to Great Reader Tellus of Oste about our needs when she recommended you lot. It seems you are to be my escorts to Vermeulen. Now, this would entail us traveling overland to Baldur's Gate. We need to make a stop in Baldur's Gate, where I have a captain and a ship waiting. We'll probably have a stay over about a day within Baldur's Gate. And then we will sail up the coast to where there is an inlet through a river that will lead us along a mountain ridge where the town of Vermeulen is supposed to be located. Of course, we will have to stop at a town along the way that is the nearest town before Vermeulen, called Mirren. There we will seek lodgings and get set up for the trek up the mountain. But that's what there is to it. Did you have a question, sir?
Yes. Is the Finders Keepers principle in play on this expedition?
There is, to a certain extent, in that we own the claim on the mine. We found it, and therefore we're keeping it. However, there is a discussion being had with Great Reader Tellus of Oste, in which Candlekeep, by supplying you to help us in our surveying, if it should pay off, The Great Library will receive a small percentage of ownership within the mine. Telesavoste tells me they are willing to impart a percentage of that percentage to you. In short, for your participation, the 5 of you would own a 1% stake in the platinum mine.
Well, that could add up really fast, yeah?
That's
Look.
a lot.
I do not want to engage in any stereotypes, but I am a dwarf and I take pride in my heritage as a delver. Yes. If it is a viable vein and it is safe to do so, the Vermilion Platinum Mine could be a very profitable operation.
I kind of like look around and I'm like, well, you could have stopped at percentage of a percentage on me. I'm in.
Hmm. Can we get 2%?
That's it. That's your counter. It's just 2.
What's that?
That's your counter. Your
5?
negotiation tactic is just to ask for 1% more.
Well,
You're not going
I
to
wanna
try
be
to
reasonable.
persuade me or give me a valid reason why I should offer even more than that.
You should give us 2.5% because that way each of us would own 1/2 of 1%, and the accounting is easier on your end. And trust me, as someone he sort of looks around as quite possibly the most intelligent person in this room, I think that it's very possible that the accounting would be very difficult unless it was an even number. Otherwise, you might find it would be very difficult to make sure that everyone was receiving the equivalent of their fair share. Take it from someone who knows.
what Doc said.
Doc or Vorn, make a persuasion check. And you will do so, whichever one of you makes the check, you will do so with advantage.
I would like to make the check.
Yes, I'm going to defer to Doc.
Yes.
I'm going to defer.
Yes.
Automatically, Doc.
Okay, I think
I'm sitting here with like
17.
Ooh,
Right.
ayo.
One moment. All right, 1 second. I just got to get the right block here. All right. 17 persuasion versus... You know what? I'm going to use my pickle die. Serious
Nice.
mining negotiations call for using a pickle
Call
D20.
for the pickle die, 100%.
Here we go. You got... What did you get, Doc?
17.
Manistrad looks at you and then looks over at Great Reader Telesavoste and just sort of shrugs. And Tellus looks back at Manistrad and says, I told you they were shrewd individuals. Very well. Your mathematical reasoning is quite sound, Doc. Should this prove to be a successful venture, you will receive 2.5% of the library's... Well, 2.5% of the overall stake in the mine to be paid out of the library's stake, but it will not reduce the amount of your ownership.
Yes, when it comes to math, I'm usually pretty on point. And
Excellent.
I'm humble too.
Very well. I will leave you to make travel arrangements with with Menestrod Kopalox, and based on everything that I've heard, we should see you back here sometime within the next month. Should everything go okay?
Imagine Vorn putting his fist up to Doc for a fist bump and just kind of lingering out there, hanging. He grabs it. Yes, grab it. That's
Excellent.
Awesome.
All right, and with the awkward fist bump, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and take our break.
Yes, awkward fist bump is the best place to take a break. Yes.
All right. Well,
Nice.
thanks everybody who's tuned in so far. We are going to take about a 10-minute break, and then we will be back with more of Escort Services. We'll see you on the other side in about 10 minutes. And we're back. As you've all just met with Manistrad Copperlocks. You've got your mission. Manistrad has told you in the meantime that when you're ready, in typical video game fashion, come find me when you're ready. And you can see, if you look out towards the stables, Manistrad's just sitting there with an exclamation point above her head. Whenever you're ready to click on the quest.
Are you sure you want to leave Candlekeep? You will not be able to go back after this. This will trigger the end game.
The tutorial is now done.
So, Mizya, what are you gonna do in the interim while everybody's going off and doing their own things?
Go back to my room and study.
Dwight's apparently just about hit his 25-word quota for this stream.
Mizya doesn't do a lot at the library that's not reading books.
The irony.
So
The irony of it all.
Mizya does more while out in the wilderness than when at the library.
It's 70% reading, 25% evil, and 5% mimosas. That's
Mhm.
the breakdown. I feel like that's
It checks
the pie
out.
chart.
You're not wrong.
So, what about Teera? What are you doing? What are you getting up to?
Teera would kind of like Teera doesn't have a ton of prep to do either. She kind of just needs to grab her bag. So while the others kind of scurry off to make their preparations, she decides to go and talk to Carol real quick about her sword and what a phenomenal job he did. And something else. So I make my way over there, and are the little interns running around?
I'm sorry, who are you? Oh, Carol, you said.
Carol, yeah.
For some reason, you said Carol, and in my mind, I heard Vorn, and I'm like, well, go talk to him.
Nope. I don't want to talk to Vorn. We'll have plenty of time.
Then you
I
were
wanna
like,
talk
are
to
the
Carol.
interns running around? And I'm like, wait a minute.
Vorn has interns? My God, he's really expanding.
Okay. So you head over to the stables and blacksmith, and Carol's there, and his interns are in there just working.
Oi, Carol, good day.
Hey, Teera,
Yeah.
how are you doing today? How's that sword?
Doing great.
Not dipping it in any acid already, have you?
Well, not today, but the day is young. I came by to tell you what a great job you did. And
Thank you.
I mean, this is as good as new. I mean, when I saw the damage, I really thought that was it, and it was just new sword time. But thank you. It means a lot to me.
Well, you're welcome, and anytime you need something fixed, you know to bring it here.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask, just because curiosity. It didn't make me pay for it. Somebody owes me a favor or something, or do I now owe somebody else a favor?
Right, well, here's what I know, Teera. There was a job to be done and somebody paid for it. As long as I get paid, it doesn't matter to me. That person didn't want to be identified, therefore I didn't tell you who it was.
Well, Carol, I'm the kind of person that if I'm indebted to somebody, I like to know who to pay it off to. You can
Right, so
understand
here's the
that.
thing about acts of kindness. Often they are presented to you and nothing is expected in return.
I don't understand.
Clearly. So, let's say, and he reaches over and there's a basket with like 30 iron daggers in it.
Uh-huh.
And he just grabs one.
Yeah.
My interns make these. They're getting better and better at it. It's not bad. I keep making them work at it because the more they do it and the more not only do they get better at it, but they stop thinking so hard about what could go wrong and they focus on the craftsmanship of it. This is a good dagger. Something like this might go for 1, 2, 3 gold pieces. Here. He hands you the dagger.
It's very nice.
Yeah, that's yours.
Well, okay, and I start digging for money.
Right. No money's needed. I'm giving it to you out of the kindness of my heart. I like you, Teera. You come by, you talk to me, you give me a little bit of work. You're a decent person from what I can tell. And so I thought, I've got an abundance of daggers. You look like somebody that knows where the pointy end of one of those goes and how to use it. So I'm giving it to you out of the kindness of my heart. Expect nothing in return.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Carol. So are you saying that you fixed the sword out of the kindness of your heart, then?
The sword, I was willing to deal with you, to haggle with you, because I like you. But that's the kind of work that keeps me from doing other things. The person that paid me for it asked me to prioritize it, and that they paid for it, right? I shouldn't have told you that part, but I did. Anyway.
Well, okay. So don't tell me, but if I guess, it's not really like you're telling me.
You're not
eh?
going to trick me. The person, part of their payment was for me to not tell you who it was. If I tell you and then they find out, then all of a sudden Carol's untrustworthy in their eyes. Don't really want that. Just accept the fact that you've got a friend out there somewhere that wanted to make sure that your sword was taken care of and your purse wasn't 6.5 gold later. Has
Well,
nobody
thank you.
ever done nice things for you?
Teera sort of stands back a little bit and doesn't really say anything. Just kind of shakes her head. Not really. It's been a long time, I guess. Well, thank you, Carol. And I kind of like leave, or I go to leave, and then I'm like, could you just give me one little hint? Was it a man, a woman, or a non-binary person? That would just really narrow
Yes.
it down for me. Fuck you, Carol. And then I leave.
He just waves and smiles at you. Fuck you too.
Love it. I love it so much. And Teera is just racking her brain. Like, just who?
As Teera walks out of the armory, Vorn is walking down the street, the opposite direction. He's practicing. He's muttering something to himself. And when he sees Teera, he goes, Teera, sorry.
Hi, Vaughn.
Hey, what's your favorite weapon for Saturday night?
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
and he has like this stupid top hat on, and he knocks it off his hat and then just jots off down the like. Never mind, and he's running away.
No! What? Leaving Teera standing in the court of air, just sort of like squinting, like, what? Can I do an insight check on the very, very, very short interaction I just had with Vorn?
Sure.
I would love to. That's a 4. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Wonder if he's sick. Being weird.
And Vorn is like, confidence. And he's jogging away, saying it to himself as he runs away.
And I just sort of like shrug, and then I kind of go back and just grab my bag of stuff. Getting ready to go.
Assyria.
Peace.
You said you wanted to get something done with your sword. Are you going to see Telesavaste then?
First I'm just basically crossing off my T's. I paid to get commissioned armor for Soren, correct? Because I was calculating.
Yes.
Perfect. Making sure. Yeah, so
yeah, because that. Did you pay for it?
I did, because
Okay,
I know I was doing some quick calculations.
Yep,
Like I should have more.
It was going to be studded leather armor.
Yes. So she'll just make sure that order is starting, so when they come back from this trip, it'll be ready to go. So she just checks on that, but yeah, she will head back to Telavoste to go break whatever enchantments on this sword. This could be a bad idea, but she's gonna go and see what she can find out.
All right. When you go to see Teles Avaste, she welcomes you in and says, right, well, come with me. I want to... I feel as though this is going to be fairly straightforward, but I want to make sure that we take necessary precautions. And she leads you down a hallway and down some stairs and then eventually to another room. And in this room, there's a variety of instruments and bookshelves and things like that. And there's sort of in the center of this room, there's the word obsidian. That's the word I wanted.
Nice.
Obsidian countertop that's completely bare. And when she leads you in and closes the door, she says that, or you see her make some gestures at the door, and the entire door for a moment just glows with an arcane light around it. And as it does so, you see this sort of, and then starting at the door and moving around the room at about a height of 3 feet off the floor, you see as arcane sigils and wards illuminate. I do feel as though this is going to be straightforward, but there's always the potential something to go wrong. These wards will keep, should anything negative happen, these wards will contain everything to this room. Are you prepared?
Well, I guess as prepared as I'll ever be.
Very well. She walks over and she places the sword. She pulls from underneath the counter a couple of stands and sort of places the sword in these Y holder stands, so it's kind of held up on almost like a display stand. And she begins to make some gestures and speak some arcane words, And then you see her straining a little bit as she is concentrating. She is going to attempt to dispel the magic on this. Okay. And I'm going to have, Jordan, I'm going to have you roll the d20 for Telesavaste.
Okay. That is going to be... I'm not adding anything, correct?
Well, just tell me what the number is.
It is a 12.
Okay. You see her straining, and then she holds up her other hand, and
Ooh.
and you actually see the sword begin to vibrate in these stands. And you see that it's starting to pulse and glow, and light streaks begin from those places where the outer shell was compromised.
Oh.
And as she's concentrating, you see them begin to widen, and you see cracks begin to form. And all of a sudden, there's just this flare of brilliant white light. And for a moment, you see shards of steel flying through the air. And you watch as one just goes flying towards you. And before it can even hit you, it just dissipates into arcane residue. Just this energy as it just dissipates into the air. And Telesavaste puts her hands down. And sitting on the stand that she put there is a sword. But it is a long sword. But it looks nothing like your father's long sword.
Ooh.
What
Ooh.
you see is a sword, a long sword, that is, for one, it's almost glowing with the, just the pure energy of this thing. The silver of the blade and the inlays is almost white. And that is the wrong notebook. That's the wrong notebook.
Oh boy. Oh
goody.
boy.
All right.
Da, 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 da.
What you see is, as she's looking at it, you see that the handle appears, the hilt of this sword looks like highly polished wood. And the pommel looks like roots that are gathered around an emerald, not an emerald anything, it's just an emerald. And then the crossguard is actually intricately woven tendrils of this wood that actually begin to sort of wind their way partially up the blade, which is this just white metal. And you can see that there are, all along this blade, there are 5 elven runes emblazoned in the blade. Telesavaste gasps. And then says, "Okay, I was not expecting that. Give me one more minute."
Take
And
your time.
you see as she reaches into her pouch and again pulls out the pearl ring and pulls out an owl feather, and she begins moving around this this blade, and she is carefully tracing again, and you see the ring kind of glowing, and you see as she traces this feather across the blade, you see the runes with the same green of this emerald that's embedded in the pommel. You see along the wood, the tendrils that kind of wind their way up like vines, you see what looks like leaves sprouting, glowing. And then these runes themselves illuminate with this green energy. Boom, 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 boom. And then all of that green glow dissipates, and these illusory arcane leaves just sort of fall away and dissipate.
Are you all right?
Yes, it took a little bit more than I expected to dispel the illusion that was surrounding it, and now I see why. You said this was your father's sword.
Correct.
Forgive me for being so blunt, but was your father an elf or a human?
Human. My mother was the elf.
Interesting. Your father may have wielded the sword in its illusory form, but he could never have wielded this sword like this. This blade could only have belonged to your mother.
What? She literally is like, wait, what?
What
The
you are looking at, Assyria, is called a moonblade. Moonblades are incredibly rare. They are passed down throughout a family's lineage for sometimes hundreds of years, if not longer. Moonblade knows only one master at a time, and that is whoever it was bequeathed to. And it can only be passed from parent to child. If you don't mind, would you come over here? And please, pick up the sword.
Sure. And she'll kind of very carefully step over. She's still kind of shaking, taking in the fact that it was her mother's, because the only blade that she saw her mom ever weave was a knitting needle and sewing. Never ever a sword, let alone this beast of a sword. So she's kind of coming to terms with that real quick, as she'll step over and gently take the sword.
As you pick up the blade, it feels both familiar and foreign in your hands, because it is an entirely different hilt than you are used to. The very first thing you realize is that this blade weighs half as much as it did in its other form.
Whoa.
You feel the energy of the blade. I would like you to make a insight check at advantage.
Okay.
While she's doing that, just so you all know, the side chat is absolutely lit.
Oh, it's
tonight.
blowing up. It's
There are
I'm
so
catching
funny.
glimpses.
There are some theories happening.
Oh, geez. 18.
18.
Don't tell me my mom is in the sword. Like,
She's inside it.
she's inside the sword.
As you are holding this blade, you sense an energy, almost like I imagine with as much time as Assyria has spent outdoors, that you've experienced that feeling when lightning strikes nearby and you can sort of feel that electrical charge in the air.
Mhm.
You feel this sort of energy through the sword, just that slight tingle, and suddenly a rush of emotions kind of hits you. You feel a sadness. You feel an isolation and loneliness. And you feel a longing for to be reunited. These are not your emotions. These are the sword's emotions. With that check, one thing sort of pierces into your subconscious and rises to your conscious thought as you just sort of interpret these emotions. This sword is longing to be reunited with its owner, your mother. And the sword seems to know that your mother is still alive.
Oh! Yes!
For now, I'm going to have you
Sure.
add 2 properties, which you should be able to just slightly modify, or you can actually add in a new item. Your longsword should be a +1 magical longsword, and it is also silvered.
Oh.
All right. Well, wow. Okay.
Tellus of Allstate tells you there is only so much I can tell you about this blade. I know much of the history of moon blades as the legendary artifacts that they are. Heirloom weapons passed down from generation to generation. Based on the number of runes on this particular blade, I would guess that this blade was forged more than 1,000 years ago. Each of these runes indicates a generation, a previous owner. Given the longevity of elves, and even half-elves, it is entirely possible this blade is over 2,000 years old. I also know that you will not be able to attune to it if its previous owner is still alive.
Oh. Well then. That complicates things.
Side chat got me.
Yeah.
Damn it, Gary. Damn it, Gary.
I saw it and I was like, nope, not gonna. Okay, we're responding. God damn it. Well. All right. Well, it seems like the previous wielder is still alive. So.
I don't know how much you know about magical... when magic infuses items.
I usually fell asleep during that lesson.
When magic is used to enchant an item, some of them are rather basic enchantments. Some things will just sort of passively work. Some things you can have in your possession and they'll work. More powerful items require you to attune to them. You spend some time with them, become familiar with it.
Right.
You learn its properties, and it will function for you properly. This is true of a Moonblade. However, in addition to being passed from parent to child, there is an elven ritual that must take place for the sword to even attempt to attune to you. While you have here before you an incredible, valuable, not just for its monetary, well, I will tell you this. There is virtually no amount of money that can be placed on a blade of this caliber.
Right.
But the intrinsic value of this item to you, your heritage, your culture. But I'm afraid you have quite a lot to learn about this blade and your own history.
Starting
Whatever
to
you
realize
choose to
that.
do.
Well then, you've certainly given me a lot to think about, and it does complicate things quite a bit.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's and you kind of see she's like running her hands through her hair, kind of half laughing with like frustration. The other half is just like, okay, we have another thread we gotta figure out. All right. Thank you. Do you know where? Oh, I suppose it sounds a bit strange. Where should he even start looking? The library would have anything?
I will, while you are dealing with this escort mission for Minestrad Copper Logs, I will
Sure.
do some research for you. Now that I know what this blade is and that it belongs in your family line, I will see what I can uncover. When you return, perhaps I will have found something for you.
That sounds great.
In the
and
meantime, please understand, I have fully identified this to the best of my abilities,
no,
and there is no harm in this blade.
that's definitely good to know. No, if anything, I was going to ask if I could just have your discretion, obviously. This is a...
Of course.
And she'll... I actually would like to do an insight check.
Okay.
Assyria's kind of getting an odd... It may be shock, but she's getting some kind of vibe. And she doesn't know Televose as much as she knows her friends. So that's the whole reason for the insight check.
Sure.
No, she believes her.
What'd you roll? What'd you roll?
I rolled a 1, and my insight is a good old negative. So we're good.
Oh.
Yeah, you have no reason to doubt her.
Yeah, she's fine. Actually, wait, I'm sorry. I have a +3, so it'd be a 4. I still believe her.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, she's...
Sure. All right. Thank you. And she'll kind of quickly put the sword away very carefully. Wait for the spell to kind of dissipate that Televose set up. And for the sake of brevity, she's going to go to Carol and see if she can pick up another sword in its place, just as a backup. Not wanting to just swing this one around.
Okay.
So.
Just so you're aware,
Sure.
in its current form, particularly with the stylized wooden handle and vines and all that, this sword does not fit in your scabbard that you had your previous longsword in.
Yep.
So what are you doing with this sword?
She's gonna take off her jacket because she's got a jacket, and she's gonna kind of wrap it around the sword
Sure.
as best
Nothing
as she
suspicious
can.
about that whatsoever.
No, not at all.
Don't be suspicious.
And she's just kind of gonna carefully carry it.
Okay.
And for the sake of brevity, get to Carol. See if she can get.
Yeah,
a new
if you have the
tabard.
gold,
Yeah.
Carol will sell you at cost whatever a longsword is. I don't have that up right now.
That's fine. Yeah, and then a new tabard to hold her sword.
It'll come. I mean, you'll get a scabbard, or are you wanting one for your current sword?
Current.
That's going to be tricky. You would have to show Carol your sword so he could custom make you one.
That's fine. She'll. So
right.
there's a problem.
So yeah, Carol.
Yeah, sorry, Jake. I know I'm throwing a lot at you.
No, that's fine. No. Don't apologize. I'm fine with this.
Sorry.
Carol is when you bring it back to him. I just imagine as you leave Telos of Ostes, there's just like a white transition, and the next thing we hear is just as Carol is looking at the blade.
Yeah.
I can understand why you want discretion.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Give me.
Take your time.
No, just give me a couple moments. And you see as he grabs this roll of parchment, and he lays the sword down, and he grabs a charcoal pencil, and he quickly starts drawing around it, and he makes a couple notes here and there, and he turns the sword over and makes a few, and he's just scribbling some things down, and he then takes just some similar to like when Teera's sword was repaired and delivered to her. He takes some burlap and kind of wraps it around and kind of ties it in a way that it protects and conceals the sword. But you can also kind of remove part of it, and you could pull the sword out of this burlap. It's not a true scabbard, but it'll suffice. And he says that he will get started on making a scabbard for you.
Fantastic.
Meanwhile, Doc, what are you doing? You'd mentioned your concern for the people that you hired, the Donner Party. The Dender Party. The name wasn't right. The Denders. It's Dender's Deliveries and such. Jolly Dender, Nora Dendar, and Jasper Dender, who should have returned a day or two ago, and they have not returned yet.
Doc is gathering all of the supplies that he can and putting it in the cart, and then he's going to wait by the exit to see if anybody else is going to come with him to the caldera.
You're just going to wait by the exit
Mm-hmm.
and hope that somebody shows up?
Well, I mean, in theory, the party will gather at some point. They all need to leave.
Teera did not have a ton to grab, so she would probably be one of the first ones there as well. I was like, "Oi, Doc,
Hello.
you beat me here. I'm never the first one with you around, eh?" And I kind of like throw some like mock punches at his chest and his stomach.
Yes, that's true. We have to go to the caldera.
No, we got to go to Baldur's Gate. That's what they said, right?
Well, we don't have to.
We don't have to go to the caldera.
Well, you don't, but I do. I
Why
sent
do you-
some supplies there to the kobolds who I befriended, and I'm somewhat of a religious figure to them now because I gave them their freedom and whatnot from the tyranny of the dragon, the yoke and the weight on their chest and all that. And I sent them some things like seeds and dirt and goats so that they could farm and not rely on predation of weary travelers and whatnot of people on the road. But I haven't gotten them back yet. They were supposed to return 1 or 2 days ago by my estimations. And as you know, my estimations are less of estimations and more like facts.
I put my hand on Doc's chest and I'm like, you sent somebody with seeds and rakes and stuff for them and they haven't come back.
That's right.
And you just want to make sure that they're still alive and your stuff got where it wants to go.
That's right.
Well, Doc, it's not that urgent, right?
It
Or
is
is
to
it?
me.
Oh.
What if they're not okay? The mine will still be there. What if those people need help? What if the kobolds didn't get? What if something happened to the kobolds? I think we need to check. I think it's very important.
And I kind of like nod and I'm like, well, Doc, if it's important to you, it's important to me. We'll see what the others have to say. And then we'll see what we can do. All right?
Okay.
All right. And I just smile and kind of like Teera would like put her like bag of crap on I imagine it's like a big, like almost like a canvas, like a military, just like a long, it almost looks like a punching bag. And then she just puts it down and she like sits down and lays back on it and is just kind of waiting for the others.
Eventually, Assyria, Soren, Vorn, and Mizya would make their way here. And the whole gang is here.
Well, all before we leave, hate to change plans, but Doc, do you want to tell him
Yes.
a brief version of what you told me, eh?
We have to go to the caldera and check on the kobolds.
And why was it important that we go check on them?
Because I sent supplies there and they haven't returned yet. And it seems to me that by my calculations, they should have returned 1 or 2 days ago. And as you know, my calculations are usually spot on, mostly
Right.
because of my superior intellect. So I think it's important that we go investigate because something may have either happened to the people who delivered it, including the guards who I hired, who was from a separate company. That was actually quite complicated. And then I sent
put
them
my
to
hand
the
on
kobolds
Doc's
and-
chest. So, and I agree with Doc.
I think,
think
that's
we
a
should-
good idea.
Vaughn, are you okay with putting the mine job on hold?
And doing this other thing?
It
Yeah.
won't take us but probably about, I don't know, a couple days.
Well, I mean, I'm good with it. We did negotiate Doc, 2.5% interest.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's true.
So we can't forget that we can't just drop it all together. So yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. This mine is probably overcome with, weird things because people don't just disappear. And I'm sure there won't be any platinum left and we won't get anything. But that's just me running away with myself, as happens from time to time. You know me.
Mizya, you all right with assuming the mine will still be there when we get there?
Oh, I don't really care where we go. I go where you go. It gets me out of the insides where I've spent so many years. So, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Look at that. Mizya's growing a little bit of an adventure bone. And I got to be honest, I like it. Well, and I kind of like look around and like, it's decided.
Sounds
Shall
good
we?
to me.
So,
And I chuck my big bag in the cart.
as
with
you
a
do
thunk.
so, you sort of chuck your bag, and as it lands, you see on the other side Manistrad copper locks. Right, so screw me. You're just gonna go wherever this caldera
No.
is and leave
It's
me on
really
my own.
important. Manistrad, just give us a couple of days. We never promised you a timeline. We promised you we would do it.
Just to keep this in mind, I've got a ship and a crew
Right.
in Baldur's Gate. And let's just say that because of the vessel involved, It's costing us 25 gold pieces a day to keep that thing anchored there. And I've already been here for 5 days. Well, counting travel and getting here and everything. And it's going to take us another 4 days to get there. That's money out of my pocket. That's not money out of your pocket.
What if we paid you for the days in addition that it takes us
That's
to get
money
out
out of
to
my pocket, operating
What if-
expenses. I'm just saying, you're just suddenly at the last minute after we made an agreement, you're deciding to go... Where? If I can ask?
the Caldera, where there's a tribe of kobolds living? It makes more sense when you've seen them and met them.
And where's this caldera? Is it on the way, perhaps?
Maybe.
Narrator,
not, is it?
it was
It's
not
in-
on the
It's
way.
not.
It's
No,
in the
it's-
opposite
It is
direction, right?
180
Wait.
degrees in the opposite
Yep.
direction.
Fucking
Yeah,
Gary.
Unfortunately, it is to the south. I mean, yeah, it is to the south. But what if? I mean, we'll be quick about it. We probably won't be more than a couple of days.
Hey, and your guys can get an extra few days of rest and relaxation, build some team morale. It'll be fine.
Yeah, do some trust falls.
Morale's not a problem with our crew.
Hmm.
Right, you're going to do whatever it is you've got to do.
We'll be fast about it. We promise.
Assyria.
Yeah.
As this conversation is taking place, you guys, you've got your card outside of, kind of parked outside of the stables, which is relatively close to the front gate, and kind of staged, ready to leave. And the front gate of Candlekeep during the day stays slightly ajar, so that they can let people in, but they can keep people from rushing in, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And typically you would see, somebody comes through after they've been, you went through the whole thing. You know how it works.
Yeah.
Somebody comes through every few minutes or however long. And it's usually a pretty orderly affair. You notice that there's a commotion taking place at the gate. Think of it like in The Princess Bride when they're at the wedding and you can kind of hear the sounds at the gate and Humperdinck's like, go see what's going on. You're starting to hear sounds out at the gate of people's voices being raised and what sounds like people being concerned.
Uh-oh. It's also very hard to take that seriously with the music.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It's a very goofy music like this whole time.
Remember, we've only just introduced music to the stream, so
Oh no!
I don't have the controls in my stream deck, so
you're,
it's a
you're
little
nailing
harder.
it, bro. Listen,
It's awesome. It's been
90%
really
of the
good.
time, the music has been effing perfect tonight. I will say. it.
Yeah. I agree completely, but especially
There's
that last part, I'm
commotion.
like, there's commotion.
Right.
Okay.
I think there might be something going on at the gates.
I kind of start to take steps towards that way, and I'm like, and I kind of like, I smack Vorn on his arm. I'm like, Vorn, come with me. And I just like start to kind of walk towards the gate.
You all can see now very clearly that some of the avowed at the gate that check people's books and let people in, they are very quickly coming inside, and you see that there is one of the avowed is trying very hard to look calm, but there is a crowd of about a dozen people, many of them with their books still in hand, as they are being ushered through the gate. And he is telling them, please, we have not had a chance to vet. The disturbance will most likely be contained outside of the gate. Come just inside for your safety, but do not go any further, as you have not. This does not constitute entry into Candlekeep. and gestures as some of the avowed attendants begin coming by, just to keep people in this area. But there's very clearly alarm. And you even hear as some of the people are coming in, they're like, did you see that size of that thing?
Oh no. What thing?
Oh my god. I want to go and I want to grab one of these like clueless people coming in with books. Like, and I was like, what was out there?
It's still out there.
What was
it's
it?
huge. I don't know. It looked like a man, but big.
Big like me or bigger than me?
Yeah, like if there were 10 of you stacked on top of each other.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh no.
I look over at Vorn and then I look at the others and I'm like, well, a
Take
job
off.
to the book club. Yeah. I follow this area.
Vorn notices how she keeps looking at me first and looking at others.
Teera notices you noticing that I'm looking at you first.
He doesn't say anything about it. He just kind of
No.
notices it.
Not me, not
So-
Hermione. Vaughn.
Yeah.
So, Assyria, you were the quickest to react
Yeah.
as you head over, and I just picture this as people are being filtered in, and you're just kind of pushing past them. Soren is right at your side. Teera, Vorn are coming up behind. Doc, Mizya, what are you doing? Are you following them?
Yeah.
Begrudgingly, yes.
As you get to the gate, Assyria, you push open the gate and or push through, and you can see there's this road that you know that leads off of the main road that leads to the peninsula where Candlekeep is. That the only purpose to being on this road is if you're going to Candlekeep.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see, and Doc, as you come in behind all of them, towering over them, you see over everybody's heads, and you see the what is left of Dender's deliveries and such, their cart, their wagon. The entire back half of it is missing. The horses are pulling the front half of it, and it's just dragging with tarp behind it. And you see Nora Dender is at the reins and is standing up on the front and is just looking over her shoulder, where you all see this massive giant that is lumbering, knocking over trees. And the giant doesn't quite look right, though. It's wearing very very dirty and just very poorly stitched together animal skins. But this giant looks like it hasn't eaten in a very long time. It looks almost emaciated.
Mhm.
It looks like it's clearly rampaging, chasing after this cart. And it's not terribly far away at this point.
Oh my god. My eyes are wide and I want to yell out in giant because I speak giant. I want to yell out. I just want to yell out, stop. What do you want in giant?
There is no response for it. I would like you to make a...
Far gone.
I would like you to make a... And anybody that wants to could also do this. Make a history check.
Okay.
Just to see what you might know about giants.
19.
7.
Don't know anything.
22.
So, Mizya and Doc, you recognize that this is most likely a hill giant. In what is called the Ordning of Giants, which is the hierarchy of all of giantdom, hill giants are at the bottom of that order, but they're generally so low in the order and so unaware of their place in the order that they just don't know it. You also know that hill giants are known as gluttons. They will eat anything and everything. So to see a hill giant that appears to be in starvation mode is probably problematic.
So Doc is going to hop off the cart and he's going to stand in the road. And he too is going to speak in giant. He is going to say, "Stop." And he would like to intimidate the giant.
Ooh.
And he's going to tap himself on the chest, sparking the light, giving himself guidance. And I would like to use a tome to give myself advantage.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
All right.
Get it.
And as he's as he is making the check, he has a flash of memory, almost like roots twisting around a cage of metal. It's like a weird twisting that is trying to break through the metal. And I would like to re-roll, please.
That's 3 more tomes.
Mm-hmm.
31 goes to 28.
I'm not going to re-roll again, but that was a bad roll, y'all.
Oh no.
Okay. So that is a intimidate of 30.
Okay.
As Doc is just sort of standing in the road, and says in giant, "You shall not pass."
Oh my god. Awesome.
And
let's go.
Your action causes this giant to sort of skid to a... I won't even say skid. It sort of stumbles to a stop about 50 feet away from you and allows for Nora Dendar to, as others quickly move the gate open, allows her to get past you and get safely inside the gates with her half a wagon. And you see this giant now. You can see also, now that it's stopped in front of you, that it has massive iron manacles, crude iron manacles around its wrists and its ankles, with lengths of broken chain hanging from all of these. And it looks down at you, Doc, and it goes, which is giant for hungry.
Yeah.
And I need you all to roll for initiative.
Oh my god. Well, we could just go get him a cheeseburger. Like,
Cheeseburger. Yeah.
oh boy.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Is there any, like, there's a guard, like, tower station right by this gate, right?
Candlekeep does
wasn't?
not have a military.
Well, I thought there was like at the.
Oh, there's just where the
entryway, I thought there
avowed
was
stand
Is
outside
it
the
elevated
gate.
or is it?
No,
At
it's at ground
Okay.
level.
Okay.
One second, I need to... Where's my encounter builder? Here we go. Run encounter.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. One second.
As you know, my name is
For
Giant,
some reason...
and I like to do drawings.
For some reason...
I'm sorry, Gary.
There we go. It put random party members. I'm like, why does it say player A and player B? It wasn't reading your party. Okay, now we
Wait.
can...
Hang
I
on.
really thought I did well there. Ooh, dang it.
Okay. Go ahead and give me your initiative, Assyria.
25.
25.
Yeah, I got +7.
Mizya,
Ooh.
4.
level 5, yo. Teera.
21.
Doc.
So Doc rolled a 24. But then another flash of inspiration as the number 24 passed by his eyes. Someone looked and saw that he could use his knowledge from a past life after he saw the die roll. So he rolled another d6 and now goes on 26.
You really wanted to go first.
So
Doc has a very special feature that is the ability to see through the fourth wall.
And 100%, if anybody has it, it's got to be Doc. So
Right.
he sees something, and it is it's not even something that he sees, it's something that he hears. It's the sound of metal crushing against stone. It's almost as though something is pulling against a chain, and he sees the flash of a hill giant in his mind, and he rolls his knowledge.
Oh my god, badass.
Okay. All right. Doc, you're up first as you've kind of got this this starving hill giant on its back feet, so
he is going to advance forward so that he's right beside the hill giant, and he is going to use his action to so it's manacled, its hands and feet, right?
yes, but all the chains are broken.
Oh, all the chains are broken.
Yeah, they're not it looks like it was at one time manacled to something, but it is not anymore. It looks like it has broken free of whatever restraints.
Oof.
Then my whole plan is shot. Okay, well then he's going to look up at this giant. He is going to attempt to make a persuasion check, and he's going to hold out some boar jerky or rations or something.
You're all out of boar jerky, but if you
Okay,
have,
I
I'm
have
sure you
rations,
have rations.
because I don't eat, so it makes it easy to keep my rations. handy.
Yep.
Okay.
So anyways, persuasion check. 22. And he's gonna say in giant friend. And he's gonna hold up the rations.
All right. Okay, it doesn't have a reaction. For the moment, it is staring down at you, confused.
Oh man.
Is that all you're gonna do then?
Yeah.
Okay. Next up in the order is Assyria and Soren.
All right. Assyria is going to move away from Doc. Probably trying to move around, so if Doc is right up on the giant, she's going to move farther to the right, using her full movement. Bonus action, Hunter's Mark. She's going to hold her action. She currently has her longbow and an arrow notched. She will let loose the arrow if the giant makes an attack on Doc.
All right, and how close did you get to it?
So she's moving around it, but she's using 30 feet of movement.
Okay. Teera.
Yes. So I see Doc offer this giant food, and I've noticed what I've noticed about the giant as well. And I'm going to hold my action. If this giant appears to be aggressive towards us, I want to then attack. Can I do that?
Yep.
Perfect. That's what I do.
All right. It is now its turn. Gary, roll me a d10.
Uh-oh.
1.
Maybe that's good.
Okay.
Maybe this is like Cthulhu rules.
it looks down at the food that you are offering, and it again, and it is going to take the food from you with its fist as it is going to attack you.
Arrow flies.
All right, so Assyria and Teera, go ahead and make your attacks. Which, yeah, let's see how those happen.
Okay. Mine is a 24 to hit.
That is going to hit.
And mine is a 23.
Also a hit.
And I get 2 attacks because I'm level 5. Is that, can I do that? Okay, perfect.
Same.
The other one is an 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
Nice.
And 20 on mine. Dirty.
Yep, those are all hits.
Okay. On the first hit, I do 10 points of damage. On the second, I do 14 points of damage.
Okay.
Sorry, reading something real quick. It's been a minute since I've used Hunter's Mark. Okay, first one, that is going to be 10 points of damage. She's aiming straight for the area right in between its eyes.
Okay.
Trying to obscure the vision. Second one, that is going to be 9 points of damage. Again, straight for the eyes, so she just...
Okay.
Real quick.
And as a bonus, I would like to rage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now this changes things because now Teera, you are up next to the giant.
Awesome.
Even is Doc, odd is Teera.
I can take it.
Teera,
Good.
the
Okay.
giant is going to punch you 3 times.
Ooh. The giant is
first
going
attack-
to punch you.
Is a 15.
My armor class is 15. Son of a gun.
The second attack is a 25.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
And the third attack is a dirty 20.
Yeah. Damn.
You are going to take
I am raging though.
2, 3,
Thank God.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Stop counting.
9d6.
Oh, whoa.
So that's 7, 12, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22,
be okay.
26, plus 15
Statistically, it should
is
be okay.
36, 41. So you can take 20 points of bludgeoning damage as this giant just goes.
Yeah. Bastard.
And
I imagine the first one like knocks me silly a little bit, and then the second two just.
what is your total HP?
My total HP is 59.
Okay,
It just I had full HP, so that
Okay.
took 20.
so that's not half. So you're fine.
No, it's not
Mm-mm.
half. It's close.
Okay. Because you would be subject to system shock if you took
Right,
half of your
correct.
health in one turn.
Yep.
Vorn, you just saw Teera just get
Wrecked.
pummeled.
Oh, Vorn just stepped away. Oh,
Oh,
there
there
my
comes
God.
the Cobra.
Talk about timing. Let's freaking go, dude.
Vorn, it is your turn. You just saw Teera get pummeled 3 times by this giant, taking 20 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay.
As Doc is standing on the other side holding up rations, trying to get it to take it.
Hold on, a freaking lean cuisine.
Vorn is going to pull out his big ol' axe and charge towards the creature swinging.
Okay.
Let's see. That's an 8. How do we do?
Vorn, you come out swinging and you bring your axe around in an arc, and there's just sparks and a metallic ring as you collide with one of the manacles on its ankle,
Okay.
failing to make contact. That's your
Ooh,
first attack.
The manacles are on the ankle. Okay. So I am right close to it then, right?
Yep, you're right
After
up
that
on it
attack?
now.
I can attack again?
Yeah, you have 2
Is that what
attacks.
you're
You're 5th level
Let's
now.
go. What?
Technically, you can attack like 5 times on your turn
Oh my god.
if you action
should've told me.
surge and are using an probably 4 for you, but
Okay. How big is this thing compared to me?
It's pretty
it's
big.
like 15 feet tall.
Pretty big.
Okay.
That sound was just you looking up at the giant.
Yes. Oh,
right.
the pan up. Yes,
So,
dude. Oh my god.
Vorn has chains of like weight vest on him from Lil One. He's going to take those chains off and do the Luke Skywalker run around the legs with the chain around the feet of this giant creature.
Badass. Yes.
To be fair, you don't have that much chain. These are
I just
wrapped around your half orc legs and arms. This is a 15-foot tall giant. You would have to have something like 30 feet of chain.
Okay. Okay.
It's a good idea. You just don't have enough chain for that.
I'm ridiculous. I want to try one flip, but I'm not going to. All right.
Did you say you wanted to
Vorn's
try a
gonna-
flip?
1 foot. I was going to wrap
Oh.
one.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, take it from me. Flipping is not a good.
Yeah. So as I hit the manacle, it's covering the whole ankle of the creature. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to attack the calf of the creature again with the
Okay.
axe, or at least the part where the knee attaches to the thigh and the leg. That little soft area behind your knee. You know.
Sure.
Yes. The
Yeah,
back
that's
of
where
the
I'm gonna
knee,
swing.
which has
The
no
back of the
scientific
knee.
name. Fun fact.
Really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're hitting. The
It's
back
called
of
a
the
knee pit.
The knee pit with the axe. Let's go again. And that one's gonna be a 25.
And a boy.
That wasn't a natural 20.
No, that was 18
Okay.
plus 7.
So that was a high roll. That is a success.
Nice. All right, and then damage, right?
Yep.
There we go.
Nice.
Wow. If only I can do more than 8 points of damage on the back of the leg.
Okay. Mizya.
Does it at
You
least
did-
go down to a knee, or does it stand still? It doesn't.
Oh, it's still standing. It's bleeding from this wound and those places Teera sliced at it. But it's barely registering that it's been wounded.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Oh my god.
Need it to make a wisdom saving check, please. DC 14.
Wisdom. That is a 1.
Okay. I step out alongside where Doc was standing, and I kind of just reach my arms up over to my side, and I kind of I catch his line of sight. In his eyes or its eyes, I draw up kind of like dark Galadriel, and
Yes.
project this. It knows that it will die if it continues this fight with us. As I cast Cause Fear, it is now frightened for the duration.
You would think that would happen,
Hmm.
as it does not react to your fear magic. It is immune to being frightened, it appears.
Interesting. That's what I got.
Yeah, as you do that, it seems to just kind of look at this display, and you see multiple expressions crossing its face, which just looks like very animated confusion. And it's back to Doc.
Okay. So you said that it has manacles around its ankles and around its, but they're broken.
Yes, I had said that you see the manacles, and then you
Yeah.
see the remnants of the chains hanging from each of the pieces.
Would it be possible for Doc to try and grab the manacles attached to the giant's legs and try and trip him? using athletics?
You can certainly try.
All right. I'm going to use a tome, please.
That musical cue is like dead on.
I mean, I could shove him, I think, but that's okay. We'll do it this way because this is way cooler. 21.
All right, so that's athletics. That is a natural 20 for a 25.
Okay.
So
So it resists.
you grab hold of this chain and you start to pull, and his foot's just not budging. Anything else?
Nope.
Assyria and Soren.
All right, gonna make another 2 attacks with her bow.
Okay.
Still aiming for the eyes. Okay, obscure his vision as much as possible. That is gonna be a 21 to hit.
Yep.
And the other one is going to be a 19 to hit.
Those are both hits.
All right.
His arrows fly through the air towards its face.
That is 28 points of damage total.
Okay.
Nice.
Just going straight for trying to just obscure any kind of vision so that way it'll have difficulty when it's trying to make hits.
Roll me a D100.
Okay. 33.
Okay. You're peppering his face with these arrows, and you're getting close. You're like getting his forehead and his cheek, but his head is moving around too much. You haven't hit him in the eyes yet.
Dang it.
Is Soren doing anything?
He's just kind of staying back.
Okay.
There's not too much he can. He could get one shot killed in this fight, so he's staying
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm raging. So I get 3 attacks now because I'm also frenzied.
Woo!
So my first is gonna be a 16 to hit him.
It's a hit.
Nice. I'm just gonna go ahead and roll all my attacks
Yep.
first, and then the second is a 17 to hit,
It's a hit.
and the third is a dirty 20 to hit.
All right, 3 hits.
So
With your
that's
newly refurbished greatsword.
yes,
Fresh from the manufacturer.
yay. The first hit is 9 points of damage, and that is including my +2 for a rage.
Okay.
My second, Jesus, is 11 points of damage.
Okay.
And my third, there we go, is 16 points of damage.
Okay. You are just opening up major veins on his legs as you're reaching up and just slashing, running around him and slashing into him. And he's just going wild. Teera, go ahead and roll me a d10.
Okay. My D10 is a 10.
It's 1. Okay, so to be clear, Mizya, you ran up next to Doc, correct?
Correct.
So Mizya, pretty much everybody except Assyria is in range. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm rolling a d4 for random. That is that's Teera.
Okay.
No,
right.
wait, sorry. If I look here, that's 1. Ooh, that's Mizya.
I would gladly just call it Teera.
Well, I looked on the screen on the Zoom call. Well, that's.
Oh.
I'm looking over here, looking at
What
the overlay.
system did you use the first time?
Well, I looked at how I see you on the call.
Oh.
I went from Doc, skipped over Assyria, and went to you. But if I do it on the overlay, no, that would be you. If I do the same thing, the way I've been doing it. It's Teera.
Let's keep it consistent. Okay.
So this time, as you have been punching or been cutting at him, he's going to punch you for 25.
Yeah.
Also, just one. You got lucky. I rolled the wrong damage dice when you got hit last time. Second punch is an 11.
Does not hit.
That's gonna miss. But as he punches you, and then he hits you hard with this fist, doing 15 cut down to 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yep.
And he goes to punch and misses, and just sort of puts his hand down on the ground next to you, and you just smell just rotting meat and flesh and body odor and horrible breath as he opens up his mouth and attempts to bite you.
Oh, God.
And that is a natural 2 on the die for a 10. As he fails to bite you, he bites into your sword.
Oh, my God.
But as he does so, he is in bad shape. Vorn, he is now leaned down and vulnerable. It's your turn.
Vorn does an attack on Titan, crawl up his back and cleaves that to at the, what do you call that? Back of the neck.
The nape of the neck?
The nape of the
nape.
neck. Thank you. My goodness. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and make your first attack.
I'm going to use advantage. I'm going to use as many. How many can
Takes
I
a
use
tome
for,
to gain advantage.
Just a tome.
Let's do it. Roll that. Boom.
You bring your axe down, and as he's reaching back now, sensing you're up there, and as he does so, he swings his arm, and the piece of chain just gets in the way, and again, chang, and sparks as you strike the chain, just missing contact. You have a second attack.
We're gonna do the same. So as I swing to the left, I bring it up around my head and swing to the right.
Yes.
Do I use inspiration, or how do I get
either?
more?
You can use another tome. You have 26 of them.
Yeah, let's use all of them.
That's worth it. That's worth it.
Okay.
You don't want to have to use all of them. You just have to use one, which is fine. Here we go. Get him.
23. 23.
That's a hit.
Nice. Bro.
Vorn,
Get him.
how do you want to do this?
Yes! Get him, Vorn!
As I my axe finds its target in the back of the neck, it cleaves through the flesh, it crunches through the bone, and then it like chops into the spinal cord. And I feel as soon as that last, like, you know, cleaving through the flesh, then through the bone, and like there's a sudden limpness in the body as the creature falls down, and I'm riding it as it falls down, and I'm driving my axe further down just to make sure that the thing goes as far as I can through the neck.
Oh my God.
And then when I pull the axe out of the nape of the neck, there is this visceral, but the blood isn't red, it is like this maroon dark black. Yeah. And it like sprays like an anime all over me. As I pull the axe over and just kind of stand in a shower of blood as it falls down.
As he has made it to the ground, because Teera was right by this thing's mouth, Vorn is like standing up, like almost on display, heroically posed, and Teera is just jaw slack looking
The
at
wind
him.
just picks up just enough that
Yes!
that the parts of his armor, the cloth parts, are just sort of whipping in the wind.
Yes. Is there like a little bit of like a gleam in her mind from it? Like,
Yeah, there's feelings happening. There are feelings happening.
yeah. And like Vorn kind of like, you know how you kind of wrench something out of when you slide a maul into a chunk of wood, and you kind of like pull it out, and that's where the blood sprays.
Yeah,
and
it's
sprays over
totally
his goggles.
totally that anime. You pull it free, and then there's just a moment of nothing, and then an arc of blood just goes.
100%.
Yeah, that's it.
And as this thing falls, and Vorn covered in this very dark ichor and blood, all of you having to some extent participated, you see through the gate there comes an individual who is has sort of a pale yellowish skin, pointed ears. They're a Githzerai, wearing the robes of one of the great readers. And they step out just in time to see this gory scene before them. Oh dear. I thought that this was possible. But I didn't believe it. I had to see it with my own eyes. It is a pity you had to kill it. I would have liked to have talked to it, but...
We tried talking to it, and it didn't go well.
Right, well, I can see the battle still has your blood up.
Damn right it does.
We are glad for what you have done. It was only I would like to have had an opportunity to talk to a mouth of Grolantor. And from behind him, you see Manistrad Copperlocks kind of steps out, looks at all of you, and says, I think you're all going to be worth 2.5%. And that's where we're going to end this session.
Yes, awesome. Wow, Vorn!
Yeah, I did it.
Vorn, giant killer.
Yeah.
We have Teera, the Dragon Slayer, Vorn, the Giant Killer.
So
Dragon
maybe
burned and giant killer.
The dragon burned. Oh my god. He's gonna have like all kinds of names like Daenerys by the end of the series.
Between the
so
four of us,
maybe you won't have to go to the Caldera after all, or you
Seems
might,
like it.
depending on what you find out from Nora. But there you go.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
All right. While I wait
Wow.
for Dwight to tell me who we're supposed to raid next, thanks everybody for tuning in. That was our Scribes and Scrolls episode 34. Next week will be session 35, chapter 35. We'll see what happens there. I love when I come up with a name for an adventure and then or a session, and then the players, Gary, do just about everything they can to avoid that happening. I'll just give you a hard time.
Screw that. You're a delight, Gary.
You're wonderful.
So yeah, be sure to tune in tomorrow night right here on twitch.tv/miniature-rain-domain at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for the season finale of Legends of Saltmarsh by Neophet. And an amazing crew over there as they are wrapping this season. And then on Thursday, you can tune in to, again, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here, for Dawnbringers, season 6, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Nice.
As they have just raised the mood of the carnival by 3 levels and are being brought to talk to the carnival owners, Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. So tune in for that. We hope to see you here next week for another session of this. In the meantime, thank you everybody who tuned in. We do appreciate you. And if you are one of those people that likes to silently lurk in the chat, we appreciate you all the same. And we are going to be raiding Tildaloo here in just a moment. But before we do so, I just want to say, as always, a huge thank you to these 5 amazing players that I'm so lucky I get to play with these folks every week. So thank you, Gary, Jordan, Cari, Dwight, and Ricky, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want. Mighty Day.